Lesson 77, Solving Two-Step and Multi-Step Inequalities. The great thing about this lesson is that you should already know all the rules that you need to know to be successful in it. We're going to treat these two-step and multi-step inequalities exactly the same as we would treat multi-step and two-step equations. And the only thing that we really have to remember is that when we're dealing with inequalities, whenever we multiply or divide by a negative, we must always flip that sign. So, on the first one, it wants us to solve each inequality and graph the solution. So I'm trying to get p by itself, so I need to move the thing farthest from it that's on the same side. So that's going to be my 8. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. I get 5p is greater than or equal to negative 40. To get p by itself, I divide by 5 on both sides. So I get that p must be greater than or equal to negative 8. So when I scroll down, there's my graph. I'm going to plot my point at negative 8. And it has the equal sign, so I'm going to shade it in. Then I see that my variable's on the left, which is where I want it. And I turn my sign into an arrow. It points to the right, so I'm going to shade to the right. Okay. Same thing here. I'm trying to get my x by itself, so I'm going to move the thing farthest from it, but on the same side, which is going to be that negative 24. So I'm going to add 24 to both sides. I get negative 3x is less than 39. To get x by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. When I divide by that negative, remember my sign must flip, and this gets me a negative 13. So my point is going to be at negative 13, so I'm just going to make my graph here. 12, 11, 10, and then 14, 15, 16. Okay, so my point's at negative 13. It's not got the equal, so it's open. And when I make it into an arrow, it points to the right, so I shade to the right. Solve this one. Before I do anything, I need to make sure that I've combined like terms. So whenever I put those together, I get a negative 17, and I'm just going to bring everything else straight down. Okay, so now I want to get x by itself. I'm going to move the thing that's farthest from it, but on the same side, which is the 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides, which leaves me with negative 5x is greater than negative 20. Now to get the x by itself, I have to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Again, I divided by a negative, so my sign must flip, which leaves me with a positive 4. My positive 4 is going to be plotted at 4. There's no equal sign, so it's going to be open. To change my sign into an arrow, it points to the left, so I'm going to shade to the left. And that's my final answer. On the next one, I have to do some simplifying again. So I'm going to start by distributing my 4 and taking care of this exponent. So when I distribute the 4, I have 4 times x is 4x minus 4 times 3 is 12 is less than 6 squared is 36. Now I'm just solving a basic two-step inequality. So I have to move what's farthest from the x but on the same side. That's going to be 12. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So I have that 4x is less than or equal to 48. To get x by itself, I divide by 4 on both sides, which gives me that x is less than or equal to 12. So I plot my point at 12. Over here I would have 14. Over here I would have 10. Put my point at 12. It's going to be shaded because it has the equal to. And when I make my sign into an arrow, it points to the left, so I shade to the left. Final answer. All right, on C, we're doing the exact same thing here, except we're dealing with fractions. And when we deal with fractions, generally I tell you just make it a decimal because you generally do not like to work with fractions. However, when we have a fraction like 1/3, we can't just change it to a decimal because it's going to be repeating, and this has to be an exact answer. So I'm just going to have to suck it up and deal with the fractions. So I need to get p by itself. The farthest thing from p, but on the same side, is this negative 1/3. So I'm going to add 1/3 to both sides. Now when I do that, when I add it over here, I'm going to change it so it has a common denominator. So I'm going to change it to a denominator of 12. 3 times what gets me 12? 3 times 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. Those will cancel. So I have 5/8 p is greater than or equal to 15 over 12. Okay. So to get p by itself now, you can either divide by 5/8, or you can remember that dividing by 5/8 is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So 8s and 5s cancel on this side, which leaves me with p is greater than or equal to. These will reduce. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 15 3 times, 4 goes into 12 3 times, and into 8 2 times. So I have that 3 times 2 is 6 over 3 times 1 is 3. So p is greater than or equal to 2. And whenever I plot this, my point is going to be at 2. It's going to be shaded because it has the equal to. And when I make my sign into an arrow, it points to the right, so I shade to the right. Final answer. Last example says a student currently has a stamp collection with 326 unusual stamps. If an average of 3 new stamps is added every month, okay, this goes together, how many months will it take before there are at least 350 stamps in the collection? So there are currently 326. That's what I'm going to start with, 326. And it says an average of 3 new stamps is added, so I'm going to add 3 new stamps every month, which I'm going to show by saying 3x. If it is at least, this quantity is at least, okay? At least means that it could be more, but it cannot be less. So that means it has to be greater than, and at least, that means it could also be just 350. So I'm going to have to put the greater than or equal to 350. Okay? At this point, I want you to solve this on your own paper, and I will see you in class tomorrow. I hope that you have a good night.